Hello, Aquarius. I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. All right, I'm seeing something that you've been maintaining, something that you've been working on. It seems like something needs to be figured out. I'm seeing there are at least two different ways to break this down. One option may be better than the other. You're doing a good job with whatever you're doing. We're starting off with the Chariot here. The Chariot says that recently there may have been something difficult that you have been working through, and now you've sort of come out on the other side of it, or at least you're celebrating a small victory of sorts right now. Seems like you persisting and showing up and doing what needed to be done was the completion of this cycle for you. For some of you, this was a long time coming as well. You may be figuring out what to do now, though, because you could have been... So, the deal with the Chariot is that it's kind of like being in the midst of all of these little crusades, and you've had victory with something now, and you may have now come out on the other side where you're like, well, I just overcame that hurdle that I experienced recently, but now what do I do from here? What happens now? So there's a sense of accomplishment, but the Chariot, unlike the Six of Wands, is about there being like a small victory. It may not be the completion of something. Like, you may not be completely done. It may be a victory that you had within the process, and there's also more to come, or there's more that needs to be done, more action needed on your part, more participation, more energy, things of that nature. So now you're at that point where you're figuring out, what do I do from here? This is a good foot to be on, though, right now. Because when it comes to the Chariot, this is something where you feel like you've had a bit of a successful streak, or at least you believe in yourself because you've seen that you've just been capable of accomplishing something. So this would be reinforcing your self-efficacy. Now you may be maneuvering through a collaboration. I'm seeing you in at least one other person here that you're working with. You may be figuring something out when it comes to a collaboration. Maybe how to make a situation as ideal as possible. You may need time to think about this. I'm seeing you be very uncompromising with your dreams right now. Like, there may be something very important to you that you're pursuing. I'm also seeing that there's eventually at least going to be a little bit of a shift in your attitude. If this is you. I want to get a couple more cards and see, though. Something here about... You could have been maybe putting things that other people want before yours, like even other people's dreams and stuff like that. And right now feels like a moment where you're like, it's okay for me to stand up for what I believe in and stand up for my dreams, and to maybe be a little bit selfish right now. I'm not saying objectively that that's what it looks like, but it may to you. Like, if you're somebody that you're always worrying about other people and what's going on with them and what you can do for other people, and somehow maybe sometimes neglecting what you want to do with your own life and connecting with your purpose, you may be stepping more into that now, where you're like, my dreams are important too. So there's more of an element of balance. But right now you may be seeing that as you needing to be a bit selfish, but this looks like a healthy development. You just may sort of be characterizing it as that. Especially if, in your mind, sacrifice is love. There may be some rewiring that's happening here. You could also be, it looks like there, again, is at least one other person that you're working with or that you're going to be working with. And this may be a person or people that are not always like the most supportive of your dreams. So you may be working with that element where you're like, I feel like I'm connected with my purpose and doing what I want to do, but I also feel like there's a lack of support. Also, for some of you too, you could have recently been working with somebody that there was maybe a bit of a mental back and forth between you and this person. Like maybe not the easiest person to work with. I'm hearing judgmental. So maybe you felt they were judgmental. You are able not to participate in this if you don't want to. Look, this is somebody coming through that may do or say something or challenge you when it comes to like your goals and your aspirations and what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. This is like intrinsically connected with your purpose and what you believe in. You may have somebody coming through looking at you. This is you doing your thing, being like, I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. I feel connected with that. I don't feel, even if I don't have everything all figured out right now, there's an aspect of what I'm doing that I feel really at peace with and that I feel like I'm on track. You may have somebody looking at you and because of them maybe feeling a little bit lost. Like this is somebody that may feel threatened when they look at you because they're like, look at the star over here, just minding their business and doing their thing. Like, you look very unbothered and just concentrated on what you're doing. That may feel threatening to this person. This person may feel like a lack of purpose. This person may be in a competitive energy. But I'm seeing you also have the opportunity not to engage in this. And this can also be you as well. You can be looking at somebody and feeling a type of way because of where they are, which you can take that, and there are two directions you can run with that in. You can look at somebody and feel a type of way because they're in their purpose and then have an unpleasant interaction with them and come off in a way that maybe isn't the most loving. Or you can look at that and be like, wow, somebody's in their purpose and it's reminding me that maybe there are things that I'm not doing for myself that I want to do. And this is giving me that opportunity to take that as a sign, to take that as a message of there's something within my life that I want to do that I'm not doing right now. This is a reminder. This person is showing up as a symbol for me. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to use that to change things that I want to change or to start pursuing things that I want to pursue. So no matter which way this Five of Swords is popping up for you, you don't have to engage with it in like the normal superficial surface level. You can choose to look into it and see it as a symbol, to see it as a sign, as a catalyst of change, an agent of change, if you look at it as deeply as you can. So somebody around you may be triggered. That's about what's going on with them. You may be looking at somebody and feeling triggered. That's going to tell you what's going on with your relationship with yourself and where you may be lacking or wanting to do something that you're not doing right now. But yeah, if this is somebody that you're getting weird, like kind of jealousy vibes from, you don't have to engage in it. That's being shown very clearly here. This element of the Five of Swords that's being brought in, you don't have to engage with it. I'm seeing you working on something that feels very important. It looks like it's connected with your legacy. It's connected with your long term, what it is that you're building within your life, what it is that you've been building. I'm seeing a lot of discipline that's needed on your end as well. I'm hearing game changer. There's also a sense of self-reliance and self-motivation here as well for you to be accomplishing what you're accomplishing. Now, you could have been working on something, and I'm seeing this isn't something new. This is something you've been doing for a while, it looks like. At least energetically, it seems like you've been at this. You may take a pause and reflect. It seems like somebody in the environment has brought something to your attention, whether they meant to or not, that's having you sit and think about what it is that you're doing within your life, why you're doing what you're doing. Maybe something particular that you've been giving a lot of your, devoting a lot of your time and your energy into. I'm seeing this thing may cause... It's kind of like this. You've been riding on this train and something has stopped it in its tracks, and it's giving you a moment to reflect. And I'm seeing something kind of come up that you may feel a bit perplexed by. Like why you're feeling a way that you're feeling about something. It does seem like it's connected with your purpose and what you're doing. But you could have been like really riding along and just been like, this is what we're doing. We're on the train right now. The track is here and we're on it and we're going to wherever this is leading. And now something has stopped. And instead of there being this like automatic flow of what's been going on, where there may even be a lack of you being totally present, something has snapped you back into the moment where there's this realization that something is sort of bubbling to the surface emotionally for you that's making you think. Even if this is not confusion, this card can come up and speak about a lot of options that are being presented to you that maybe you didn't see were there before that now you're realizing. Like, I have a lot more avenues than I originally thought. And your initial reaction to that may be feeling closed off because you're like, that feels intimidating to me. We're going to get further, though, and see how exactly this is playing out for you. It almost seems like it's like this stone that you go to turn over and you didn't really think much was going to be under it. But when you do, it ends up taking you down a rabbit hole. This is what I'm seeing. Like, you just so happen to look at this and to flip it over, and it's just a lot more is behind it than you thought initially. It's kind of like finding something unexpectedly, and it's something that may have you question like the course and what you've been doing. But I'm actually seeing it be carrying a message to you about a different path that you may want to be taking here. I'm definitely seeing reticence on your end, though. It's kind of like this new thing is coming up and it's become an option to you. The Fool is you engaging in something that you may not have a whole lot of experience doing, and you'd need to have like a lot of faith. It may require a leap of faith on your end, something where you're like, oh, I never imagined that I would be doing that. So it's going to take courage and you thinking outside of the box and you deviating from the way that you normally do things. Because this is the energy of Uranus, so it can be a bit spontaneous and kind of zigzagging when you thought you were going to go straight. And that's what these feelings coming up are telling you. So I'm seeing that it's mobilizing something for you where this like adventure has begun calling you, but I'm seeing there be this part of you that because you may doubt an aspect of your purpose, like this is really how I'm seeing it play out. You can, for some of you, you're also seeing this dynamic happen with you and somebody else in your life, but it's also going on internally. What I'm seeing is that if you feel like you're not good enough to step into your purpose, or you're not trusting yourself, or you're not believing in yourself, like say you have this really big dream of yours and you're like, I'm not good enough to do that, or I'm not talented enough. or like X, Y, and Z, why I can't do that. Even though there's this part of you that's calling you and saying, hey, you're interested in that. So that's a message to you. That's a sign to you that you want to go in this direction. But then you have this other voice that's telling you that you can't do it for all of the reasons why it's telling you you can't. And then that's confusing because you're like, well, why am I drawn to that? Why am I attracted to that if that's not for me? And the only reason part of you thinks it's not for you is because that's what you're telling yourself. And so I'm seeing this sort of interaction going on internally for you that you're feeling, where now there's a more clear message of, I have two different ways that I can go, and I can choose to listen to this like shadow aspect of doubt within me and criticism within me, or I can choose to hear that and recognize it and still do this thing, this brave move that I want to do. And I have the opportunity to do that. So it's all about like what vibration, what frequency internally you're going to be latching onto and listening to. Like, are you going to take this advice from your higher self that you're connecting with? Or are you going to take this advice from your emotions of this thing that is calling to you? Or are you going to allow your brain to be the master here and tell you that you're not good enough for something, or that other people are going to look at you and judge you, or whatever this is? Because this is like, at the end of the day, feeling scared because of like being in a sense of inadequacy and not believing that you can like accomplish a dream of yours that you want to pursue. Or like you're gonna fail. It's like, this is all of the fear that comes with that. This is like having your heart closed off, of like not trusting, not believing, not experiencing like the joy that's associated with this. And you can feel that and you can recognize that. This can also come back to like you being a kid and not getting the support you wanted from your guardians, from your parents, from the people that were raising you, or the person that raised you, and feeling invalidated because of that. So really it can go all the way back to that, this internalized voice of the critic. So because this is not, that voice is not something that you can just obliterate for the most part, you have the opportunity to, rather than identify with that voice, to be like, okay, I hear you, and I'm still going to take this leap of faith anyway. And this is really where I'm seeing you be right now, in this moment where you are at kind of a split in the road where you get to decide which path that you want to take, which path that you want to pursue. So a crossroads, so to speak. Let me just look at this for another moment, see if there's anything else that we can talk about. You are going to be able to overcome this challenge through totally immersing yourself in this, committing yourself towards what you want, and not giving up until you accomplish it. So this is like really showing up in a determined attitude. This is you really connecting with your Mars energy within your birth chart too. And figuring out how to persistently work, especially as times feel challenging right now, and to reflect on like what really does feel connected with your path and your purpose. Like, are you doing anything that's out of alignment with your path or your purpose? Is there something that you're doing that doesn't feel fulfilling to you? Is there something calling to you that you're not answering back? Is this going to be that moment where you answer that call? I'm seeing the only thing that's throwing you off right now is this 5 of Swords, which again, at the end of the day, is going to be that self-doubt, that self-criticism, that lack of self-trust, the fear of judgment, those things. But again, you have that opportunity not to listen to it. And for some of you, this can be like somebody in your environment that you're feeling that energy from, that you're internalizing now. So, but you get to make the choice now that you are informed. So we're looking at Cancer, Aries, Virgo, Aquarius, and Uranus. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.